Good afternoon. Well, today I want to talk to you about NFTs. What are they and why should you be bothered about them anyway? Well, in March 21, this just March gone, Art News reported that a sale of a piece of NFT or digital art, that's just a digital format, not a painting, not a piece of sculpture, but a digital art by Beeple, sold for $69 million, £50 million at Christie's auction. Now, the artist, whose real name is Mike Winkelmann, jumped to the top three of most expensive living artists in history. I mean that's incredible. And what they are buying is a digital token that they're not actually buying anything tangible. So what is this all about? Well, an NFT stands for Non-Fungible Token. It's a type of digital asset, like a representative. It could be a piece of art, as I've just demonstrated there. It could be music, and you can own these and you can trade them. Now, they don't all go for millions of dollars. Typically, you can buy them for between $40 and $200, and people, are buying these things, and so there's a market for it out there right now. You can go out and buy them. Now, just to explain, a fungible asset in economic terms contains units that can be readily interchanged, like money. You can take a $20 or £20 note and split it into two tens and it's still the same value. But a non-fungible asset is a unique one of a kind, like a work of art, like the Mona Lisa. Now, these things are bought and sold online, often using cryptocurrencies, and they're encoded with the same underlying blockchain technology that are used with cryptocurrencies. Now, people are often going about this blockchain technology, and this is the future. So, why would anyone want to own these digital assets? I mean, it's effectively a photograph of a piece of art when they could go and take a photograph of themselves down at a gallery. Well, these are unique things, and they're not just like going into the National Gallery and taking a photo of a painting. Firstly, this is a new form of creative enterprise. It's part of the new economy, and the idea of it goes far beyond just owning a photo of a painting. And let's face it, millions of people already buy prints, don't they? They buy a print of a famous photo or a famous painting rather that they could never afford, but they'll buy a print of it and hang it on their wall. And, I bought prints, why not? And then you have limited runs of them, maybe 100. And I bought, like the second one out of 100 or the third one out of 500. And that's the limited run. So they're not mass produced. And, these things do sell. These things are, this is just digitalizing things. It's just digitalizing it in terms of you will get really what is a piece of code in this token. Now, the entrepreneur and influencer Gary Vaynerchuk said that NFTs and blockchain the blockchain technology around the NFTs are something that will influence everything we do on the internet and in life. He compares this blockchain technology to the early stages of the internet. Perhaps in the late 90s when people just thought it was a search engine or an online encyclopedia. People say, well, what's the internet? It's just, I can search for things. I think even before Google, you had these web crawler and things like that, these search engines, Ask Jeeves, that you'd put the question in and it would roll around and you see this thing moving around for like 5 minutes and it would come back with the answer. And then Google came in and bang, it was there, because they just took over the market, didn't they? They just captured every web page on the web and still do, so that they got the answer instantly. And that's all people thought it was. They didn't realize how much it was going to change things. And, I remember even 20 years ago, I heard Lord Alan Sugar, who made his fortune, ironically, making computers. Amstrad in the UK, he brought Amstrad to the market and it was much cheaper than other computers. And he virtually wiped out the typewriter with these Amstrad computers. Yet he was skeptical about it. He said, I remember him saying, well, you go on and try and order stuff on the internet, you spend about 20 minutes messing about, putting your name in, but then it crashes out. Oh, it's a waste of time. You could go down the shop and buy it easier. this is Alan Sugar saying this, right? I don't think he does that anymore, but it just shows you the skepticism and the lack of foresight in terms of what the internet was going to do to the world. And that's how Gary predicts that things will change with blockchain technology. And he said that, in the future, people will probably be carrying around a digital wallet. And I don't know whether that's a physical digital. I mean, there are physical wallets and digital wallets, but people will carry around this digital wallet with digital assets. And it could be NFTs, it could be your ID, it could be personal records, it could be your birth certificate, your marriage certificate. All of these things could be digitized so that they're not producing bits of paper. And at the moment, it's difficult to do that because things are not secure. But with the blockchain technology and the fact that it is not only transparent but secure, these things will definitely come into being in the future. So that's why I'm mentioning NFTs, because they're part of a bigger movement, and even NFTs could be sold as a brand maybe selling off an NFT saying, we'll give you a Starbucks NFT with our logo on it, and if you buy the gold one, you could get free Starbucks for life, and you might pay, say, $1,000 for this Starbucks logo NFT, but then you've got free coffee for life. Well, then maybe a year later you've sort of had enough of Starbucks. You want to go to somewhere else. You want Costa. So what happens then? Well, then you could sell that asset. You could say, well, I'm going to sell that asset, and maybe you'd get more for it. Maybe you get less for it. I don't know. But this is a form of digital asset that's going to be used in many, many different ways. So just watch out for NFTs. And, it does make you wonder, how many people are going to be left behind with the pace of change, right? Governments are already concerned in the UK about, the number of older people and families and poorer families that are, unable to access essential services almost now because they're not online and don't have a smartphone. So this is, people are getting left behind here, definitely. And, we've seen the growing demise of traditional high street travel agents, even big chains closing down, massively. Thomas Cook went broke, didn't it? And they had travel agents everywhere in the high street. We could go in and sit down with a brochure. You picked a brochure off the wall and you said, oh, I like this nice hotel in Turkey or Spain. And you'd book the holiday. You could pay them with cash. Well, these are sort of disappearing fast. I used to use my local guy. He had an independent travel agent. He was across the road from my office. I could go in and say, find me a flight to wherever. And, he'd book it and I could give him a check. He wouldn't want the upfront payment even. He would trust me to book the flights or the holiday. And, it was great. I could buy my currency from him, but I doubt if these sort of types of travel agents are going to be around much longer. So, people need to get online and get with it here. Banks are obviously trying to phase out cash, governments as well. And Sweden is one of the first countries to move to they're almost at totally cashless now. And they're bringing in other things which will mean that you don't even need to carry. I mean, people are injecting themselves with chips in their hand so they can go and say, hey, I'm paying with my hand, or open that door because this is my ID. So, and we're already seeing central bank digital currencies, starting to be introduced. China is probably going to be the first country that does this. But there are plans in America and Europe to do the same thing. So there's going to be a major shift, and the events of the last couple of years have accelerated this I'd say by about 5 years. So if you've got a lot of cash under the bed or in the mattress, you better start thinking about what you're going to do with it. And the increasing speed of these new developments mean that we need to continue to study, keep ourselves up to date. It doesn't mean necessarily going back to university, but if you do want to change careers, and I think many of us may have to change careers several times in our lifetime. A person starting now, I heard an estimate of having maybe 40 different careers in their lifetime. That's almost one a year. So if you do need to change career, you perhaps should look at going back to college, university, or just taking a vocational course. I mean, in the UK, there are lots of free courses or very, very cheap courses that you can take to learn new skills, new trades, and change your profession if you need to. And I think many people will have to in the future as things get phased out. We're going to see more artificial intelligence technology. We're going to see more driverless cars, driverless trucks, driverless delivery vans on the road, or stuff being delivered by drones. So people need to think about what they're going to do in the future. And I think particularly young people need to think about this. And one thing I think is something for the future is creative. Can you create things? Can you do things? What can you do? What can you create? Because that will be around. I think companies will always need a creative department, someone that can do something, create something from nothing. So that's something you might want to think about. So I think, in terms of keeping yourself up to date, you could just go for 30 to 60 minutes a day reading online instead of just reading, The Sun or watching TV or listening to the radio. Have a look every day. Or listen to podcasts that you like to listen to. Follow things on YouTube videos, but not just silly videos, but stuff that you can really learn from. There's a wealth of free information out there for you to pick up on. And I read a statistic that many years ago, only 10% of people do any study after leaving school. Many never read a book, in fact. But is it a coincidence then that those same 10% of people end up in the top tier, the top 10, 15% of the earners in the countries and in the top income brackets? I don't think it is a coincidence. Brian Tracy once said that reading for 30 or 60 minutes a day on your chosen profession or any subject would make you an expert within 3 to 6 months. And that's very true. I've done it myself. And he said if you did this for 2 or 3 years, you could actually get a degree in a subject just by reading for like an hour a day. And that doesn't take a lot of effort, does it? And you could do the same thing by listening to audios in your car, listening to podcasts while you jog or travel to work on a bus or a train. You don't need to waste your time. So you can use your time effectively. And, Brian Tracy, I met Brian Tracy in America on a seminar. Great guy, still around. Good old Brian, comes up with some brilliant stuff. I think he writes about 2 books a year and speaks in hundreds of places every year. He's been to every country in the world almost. So I do have a lot of respect for people like Brian. So look, if you've enjoyed this, if you found it useful, please like and share it. I always appreciate the likes. I appreciate it takes time to maybe put a comment in, but I love to see the comments. So please do that. And that helps with the algorithms to get this free content out to more people. So do feel free to share it. Follow me on social media. Subscribe to channels. You might see this on Facebook or YouTube, but please do subscribe and share it. And so we can get more of this out to everybody. Now I'm offering, if you want to continue your study, particularly in the field of money and building wealth, I'm offering a free Wealth Accelerator Discovery call to 3 people this week. If you're interested in that, click on the link below, and I'll book you in a call. So thanks for listening. Have a great day wherever you are, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye for now.